All right. It's New Year's Eve day. I'm just finishing up, opening up, taking off more of the, all the wiring harnesses were all mounted. The intake manifolds were mounted. All these breather hoses that were in here, all of that's been removed and is now down here. And half of those hoses, the hoses that does not have yellow on it, on the yellow writing, is going to be replaced. We've got one, see, look at that motor mount. That motor mount's destroyed. And I could have kept going with it past. So there's $1,300 worth of motor mounts I got to buy for this thing. A little bit of a sniffle trying to unbolt this cable mount. We'll get on it. I'm not gonna work on it today. Main thing I wanted to show was the intake elbow that went around here that goes to the Y pipe. That's this guy right here. It sits in there. I guess I can take the rag out of it now. It sat in here like so, going into the intake and then to the meter, to the Y pipe. Wonder what happened here. We got us a hole. Not good. Not good at all. So, what was that writing on? Oh, that was the pipe. The breather pipe. It's on the bottom. It's the aluminum. This was mounted up next to it. So that spot right there was mounted up to it, and between the two rolled a hole. There might be probably a hole in that and the breather, which is not as critical because it's just breather. But this stuff I knew wasn't right when I first looked at this. I knew that this stuff was not right, and it had oil leaking everywhere out of all the hoses. I mean, these things won't seal anymore to save their life. I mean, that's brittle hard. If I squeeze it, it'll break. And I'll have to use a pair of pliers because I can't squeeze it. But, you know, strip her down to parade rest and start over, shipmate. So we going down. And the bottom line is, I don't trust anything, not one thing on this engine that was connected to it, one way or another. Electrical, whether cables or hoses or motor mounts. Prop governors, okay, it could use a rebuild, but it doesn't need it right at the moment. The mags, they just need some TLC and cleaned up. But any of these hoses and intake and exhaust just barely hold on. Surprised this engine even ran as good as it did, because it ran fine. It do a mag drop test, doing a run up, ran up great, plenty of power, same equal power on both sides. It felt good, but this thing is whacked. So I gotta drive that out. I got a new pin, a new bushing, and new rubber grommets, since I can't take that unit out. And I've seen this unit for sale for $500 or more. But the case, if you look, so I tried to take it out and that wasn't moving. This thing was not moving. Hit it with a hammer, pliers, screwdriver. I mean, it was not coming out. I didn't get medieval on it. I just was doing exploratory. But after looking further review, that's where the case splits. And so the case is actually squeezed around it. And I believe this on the other side is a idler shaft. Is the shaft that goes in and holds a gear one of these gears that run the mags are coming off the camshaft. So we're just gonna leave it in there and fix it on the engine. But all that stuff, I mean, everything's just gone or whacked or destroyed or gone. I mean, these rubber grommets are all wasted. I got to replace them all. And I could probably find some new, but you know what? I'm just gonna replace it with new hardware and be done with it. Tighten this all up. So we're not too far from being able to pull it. We got to pull the prop and pull that engine up and off those mounts. I'll have new mounts coming and get the engine bed here, engine bay bed taken care of, and this whole thing will look a whole lot better. Between getting that firewall cleaned up, getting the inside of this painted, all new. So the new wiring harnesses are going to be maroon. So we have blue for all the baffling, maroon wires. So what I might do is paint the valve covers the same color ish as the new wires coming in and match, so that it all blue, red, white, and blue. All right, Red Baron. I gotta finish the dorsal thing. I have it in the car. Just gotta do some more grinding, and I haven't touched it in a while. I meant to come down and do it, but the more I dig into this, the more I find. I mean, I just found that hole. I almost didn't move up. You know, if I wasn't going to have plans to remove stuff, I would have never taken that out. And that could cause there's, I bet, our vibration problem. I bet this engine was vibrating like a big dog. Well, I'm not sure. Well, it depends. I'm not sure if the air coming in has anything to do with the fuel, because the fuel goes to the metering block. It doesn't get. It's just an open vacuum, and I don't believe the metering valve or anything is not pulling any vacuum on the Y pipe. So it's all fuel pressure going to it and then back up into the injector system. I have to think about this. So it's part of the learning process, how this thing operates. This is one of the things that really got me going at the very beginning when I seen this. This tells, I believe, is exhaust leak. And so, yeah, it just is. This engine and its install configuration has seen its life. But the engine's not, the internal base engine is in good, I believe, good shape. We'll find out, right, when we pull these heads and look at the camshaft and what have you. But my gut instinct says the base engine's okay, and I'm just going to end up squaring everything around it up. But even that includes taking the cylinder heads off. You know, my intent is to pull all six. Put the flange plates, bucking plates, and torque it down to proper torque specs through the through bolts. And I'm not worrying about the flanges or the studs, you know, the flange studs. It's the through bolts that need to be torqued with a torque plate on both sides to keep the engine together, because the engine splits down the middle. Well, that's where the camshaft and crankshaft are, and the bearings in the crankshaft. What has happened is people pulled all 6 cylinders and loosened up the through bolt nuts, because there's bolts that go all the way through. So the nut on one side and nut on the other, it's the same bolt all the way through. It's not a stud. Like, these are studs in the case, but I believe that's a through bolt. And I'm pretty sure, or it's one of these two is a through bolt that goes all the way through the other side and gets torqued down. And we're gonna get all new nuts and hardware, but I'm gonna reuse the through bolts. But we're just gonna get new nuts and washers and everything else that get it mated right. So still gonna hold off on that order until I pull this engine apart, so I know what I may have to go a completely different route. Things aren't as good as I hope they are. But I'm not gonna slap it back together just to make it work. It's gonna be right, even if it's got to sit for 2 years on parts and pieces. I hate to knock it in the head and have to sell this thing because it's a good plane. No damage history. It's got less than 4,000 hours total time on the airframe. I mean, everything is in good shape. Just it just needed an owner that had a priority in maintenance. Yeah, Connie ran this thing to the end. That's no doubt. And he was at the point that the engine needed to be rebuilt, and so he wasn't putting any money into it until he was going to either sell the plane or put a new engine in it. I think the engine's fine. All right, that's it for now. Ciao.